Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on an intro to dotloop for brokers. My name is Evan Peel and I'll be running the webinar for us this afternoon. It should be a quick webinar looking at about 20 to 30 minutes with plenty of time to ask your questions at the end. I also see that we are waiting on a handful of others to currently get into the webinar, so we might give them another 30 to 60 seconds here before we do get started. So if you need to grab a cup of water or grab a cup of coffee, you've got about 45 seconds to do so. For those others on the line, please note that in your GoToWebinar control panel, you should see a chat and or questions box in that panel. Feel free to chat with us, to send me any questions that come up. If there are questions that are left over after the webinar today, we will follow up with you to get those questions answered. And at the end, we'll also point you in the right direction as to where you can go with additional questions or for additional insight into the actual functionality of the dotloop system. So I think that we've given everybody enough time to get in and get situated, so we'll go ahead and kick things off today. Again, my name is Evan Peel, and I'm the Senior Success Manager for dotloop's largest enterprise partners. A little bit of background on me, whether you guys really care or not. I think it's important to know who you're listening to. I've been with dotloop for about 6 years now. I've worked in this capacity as a success manager for about 4.5. And part of being a success manager for a company like dotloop, my capacity or my responsibility is to really specialize in the implementation, onboarding, and training of the dotloop business system for brokers into our partners' organizations. So I am one of about 20 other success managers here at dotloop who really take a consultative approach in making sure that we build dotloop around your business and your needs, rather than you having to change what you're doing to fit into dotloop. So we'll talk more about success management, but that was just an intro to give you guys a better understanding as to who I am and my background. One other thing that I left off is, as a success manager doing this for the past 4.5 years, I've been involved with launching around 50,000 agents on dotloop from coast to coast. I have partners in California, I have partners in New York and Texas and Wisconsin. And through that experience and through those trainings, I think that I've learned a lot about what brokers actually care about. I've learned a lot about what agents really care about. There's a lot of times where we're listening to technology companies that think that they know what they're talking about, but they don't really understand the reality of our business and of our industry. So hopefully I can bring that knowledge and that expertise to the presentation today. So before we do kick things off, the last thing that I will note is that this will be a very high-level kind of overview of some ideology to think about as it pertains to rolling out dotloop and even purchasing dotloop, showing you the dotloop difference, and then highlighting some different key features that go along with the headaches or the pain points that we're experiencing today within our business, with or without the technology that's available to us. So the first thing that I want to talk about are our biggest headaches. What are the things that we struggle with today or that are just a pain point in our business? And we're going to tie this back to how we can leverage technology to tackle these headaches or to get over these different hurdles. When talking with brokers, with our existing partners, we really found 4 main items for every broker that they care about. And those 4 items are listed here. We have compliance and paperwork, recruiting, retention, and scalability. So we all need to make sure that for the sake of being audited and getting fined, that whatever system we're using, that we have insight into compliance and into managing the paperwork that comes from the agents to our office staff, to us, the broker manager, to accounting, and keeping all of that in one place. So not only focusing on the compliance aspect of making sure that we have an efficient process to review paperwork, to make sure that, again, all of those T's are crossed, I's are dotted, but also helping manage the flow of that paperwork. So when an agent actually drops off paperwork to the office, or maybe they're emailing it in, trying to find a more seamless way for the agents and the staff to interact. And that is a huge focus of dotloop's, is that we're not only here to cater to the agents and create a better client experience, but also cater to you and your staff in making a more seamless interaction between you and your agents in the field. The third item here, recruiting and retention. That is a huge focus for, I believe, all of us in not only bringing on new talent, but retaining the great talent that we have. We all know that there are 100 different things that every broker says that they offer or that differentiates them in their market, whether it's the brand or the technology that they provide. Leveraging these tools, leveraging our brand, whether we're Coldwell Banker, Century 21, maybe we're a large independent in our market, we're using those things to recruit and retain. So we're going to tie back how dotloop and the things that we can do through dotloop are going to help you with that goal of retention and recruiting new talent. Lastly is scalability. We all want to be able to scale quickly and efficiently, and dotloop is built around that idea as well. We want you to grow. We want you to be as successful as possible. And in order to help you do that, we had to build a system that could scale with you and could pivot and do so in a very efficient manner. So I've had partners in the past. I have one that comes to mind. They've been partners with us for about 4 years. When they originally came on board, they had 90 agents. Now they're around 500 with about 10 more offices than they had in the beginning. So over the past 4 years, they were acquiring offices in their market. They were bringing in a ton of new agents, and they needed a scalable system to accommodate that, and dotloop was the perfect choice. So those are the 4 kind of topics or main points that we're going to be focusing on and tackling through the rest of this presentation. So the next thing I want to show you is probably going to be one of my favorite visuals that our marketing department has ever created. Definitely kudos to them. And that is identifying or highlighting the dotloop difference. And the main idea here is that standalone platforms create inefficiencies. So in this image, we've got 5 major steps or the 5 main points of transaction management at the agent level. Starting from the left, we have create. Agents, when they get a new listing, when they have a buyer putting in a contract, they need a place to fill in their paperwork, to auto-populate their contract and have a disclosure that the client can fill out and sign. And today, some of those platforms that you or your agents might be using, whether they're provided by you, the broker, or provided at an association level, are things like Instanet, Zip Forms, Form Simplicity. And that's one program that the agent has to start with just to complete their paperwork. Once they've completed that paperwork, then they need to deliver it to their client or deliver it to the other agent or some ancillary service provider, title, escrow, an attorney that's involved in the transaction. And between creating and sharing, they have to download all of those documents and either upload them to Gmail or Outlook and attach them to an email, or they have to move those documents from Zip Forms into an e-signature platform like DocuSign or DigiSign. And they have to then log into that other account just to set up the document to then be e-signed. So already, before your agents even get signatures on any of the paperwork, they've already logged in or had to move between 3 different systems. And then comes the compliance piece, which is the agents actually turning in their paperwork and turning it in on time and not expecting you to cut a check in 2 days because they forgot to turn in the closing paperwork. So the agent, once they've completed the documents, then they need to download everything and upload it into a back office solution like SkySlope or Transaction Desk. Or maybe your brokerage is still turning in paperwork, which is totally fine. But the agent has to then print all of that paperwork, drive into the office, drop it on your admin's desk or your office staff's desk, and then typically they might also scan that back into a computer somewhere. So a lot of downloading and uploading and switching between systems. And then lastly, we all have to worry about storage. We all have state requirements on how long we have to store this information, making sure that it's accessible. Some of us are storing it in Dropbox or Google Drive. Some of us have storage units, or we have a basement of our office filled with the past 4 years of transactions that if and when we get audited, we have to go down and find all of that paperwork to provide to that board or to the state. So you'll see this isn't even talking about lead generation or the end of the deal or follow-up. These 5 steps and using 5 or 6 programs for every transaction is just a very inefficient way for the agents to do business. It also creates a lot of blank space between these steps for things to fall through the cracks. And this is how our industry might be landscaped today. This is what dotloop saw 10 years ago when we were first thinking about the idea of the dotloop system. So what dotloop did to address that is we said, instead of having an agent have to integrate their zip forms with their DocuSign and with another back office and storage system, at dotloop, why don't we just build all of that functionality ourselves? So that is what we've done. We've created a one-stop shop, a truly end-to-end solution where agents are empowered to use the system by having one place to create their forms, one place to share and communicate with their clients, and one place for everybody to e-sign without ever having to download and upload. And what you get there is you'll see that you have insight throughout the transaction instead of just at the end of it. Without these different tools, you don't know what's going on with the deal until an agent actually turns in those hard copies, where you could have been able to help that agent by catching something before it happened. Well, with dotloop, because they're using dotloop, you will be able to see and have insight to all of that as they're creating documents, sharing them, and e-signing. Now, dotloop also wanted to take it a step further and include compliance and storage in this experience and in this functionality as well, to where your staff and you will be using the same system that your agents are actively using for their deal, so that, again, you have that real-time insight into exactly what's going on instead of catching all of that information at the end of it. And then lastly, storage. dotloop does maintain everything for you for a minimum of 7 years, at which point you can decide if you want to keep that in the system or not. So all of this is included in one system instead of having 5 or 6 systems. It's one password that the agents have to remember. The agents aren't bouncing from 4 different platforms. They're not paying for 4 different platforms. Maybe if you're a broker who provides e-signing and form creation to your agents, you're paying for each of those different services. Well, with dotloop, you're managing and paying and supporting for one system that does everything. Another huge thing to think about here as it pertains to the agents is, on the previous slide, if the agent had a question about creating a document, they would have to call zip forms. And if they had a question about e-signing, they would have to call a different number, let's say DocuSign. So not only are they remembering multiple passwords and login credentials, they also have to remember all of these different support numbers. We will go into more of dotloop support later on, but know that dotloop and our dotloop employees here in Cincinnati, Ohio, support all of the steps of transaction management, and not just one. So your agents are going to be passed around. And at the broker standpoint, think about onboarding. The last time you had to onboard a new agent, if you are that brokerage that's using 5 or 6 different tools for transaction management, you have to train that agent on those 5 or 6 tools. And that could take 4 to 5 weeks, whereas dotloop, they come on board, you train them on one system, should only take about a week, and then you kick them out the door and they're off making or doing business. So not only creating efficiencies for the agent, not only creating efficiencies for our compliance team and automatically storing everything, but tying that back to onboarding, and that could be a part of recruiting. Is, hey new agent, you want to come to my brokerage, because we don't throw 20 different tools at you. We have one tool that does everything you would need. When you come on board, you'll learn that one tool and hit the ground running. So that is the dotloop difference, is that we are truly the only complete transaction management solution. Again, we support all of this ourselves, so it's not like you're going to have to call different numbers dependent on where you are in this timeline. So through this technology and thinking again about recruiting and retention, we really care about empowering your agents, making sure that they can continue to be mobile, making sure that they can stay compliant and e-sign in a paperless environment. And through that, your agents can deliver a consistent and very compelling and valuable client experience. That is a huge driver of every single agent's business, is creating this superb experience for the client to make sure that the next time that they need an agent, there's no question as to who they're going to go to. Well, we can empower our agents as brokers with these awesome tools to help them deliver on that client experience. And again, going back to recruiting, we can attract talent through this technology. I've said it before, I'll say it again, saying that you can offer this technology that's all-inclusive, that's mobile, and can help better the client experience is going to make agents want to come and work at your brokerage. So that has been a major focus of dotloop's, is empowering the agent mobily to where they're not tied to a desk. They don't have to be in the office all day. They can actually be out in the field working, closing contracts, while also sitting with their clients and making sure that they're building that rapport face-to-face and delivering on that experience. So empowering agents is huge. It is also what helps us stay compliant by having everything and all of that information in one place, so that at a compliance standpoint, we can see the progression of what's going on within the deals. And that's another focus of dotloop. Something that we tackle is simplifying that compliance. Going back to those biggest headaches, we care about compliance, we care about the flow of paperwork. Well, dotloop's compliance portion, our Business Plus product, is exactly what will tackle that hurdle. So this will create a seamless handoff between agents and admins. So when we saw from creating the documents to sharing to signing them, the next step was compliance. Well, in dotloop, the agent doesn't have to print everything out. The agent doesn't have to download everything and upload it somewhere else. They can click a single button that says submit for review, and we can customize the system to notify the appropriate admins, and then notify the appropriate managers, and then notify accounting, etc. And because the agents and your admins and staff are using the same system again, we will see a log or all of that activity as it's happening in real time. So you get real-time visibility into every transaction as it's happening rather than at the end. And again, hopefully that's going to allow us to not only streamline the handoff or make it more seamless, but be able to catch things before they become a problem. So catching a nuance between two documents and saying, hey, agent, we need to fix this before we move forward, because it's going to be a huge headache when we get to closing. Without having that real-time visibility and insight, you don't even know that until it's too late. So very important. And again, this compliance is built entirely around your business. Part of our success management program or our process is learning how your business runs, so that we can implement your processes, your compliance workflow and needs directly into your custom-built dotloop dashboard. And another huge conversation in today, or in our industry today, is data. And not even in our industry, in the world in total. We are able to derive a lot of information from reporting, from data. So through these dotloop dashboards, you're going to be able to monitor your business in real time. Through being able to monitor that data and see it as it happens instead of the end, we're seeing it as these transactions are going on, we can better identify areas of opportunity. And we can use that data and those areas of opportunity for agent development. And if we've simplified the compliance process, hopefully by simplifying compliance and streamlining it, making it more efficient, you're going to, one, have more time to be that leader, be that coach, to help develop these agents, brand new or veteran. You're going to have more time to do that. So now that we have the time to do that, what else do we need? We also need insights into what those opportunities actually are, where these agents can be developed through the work that we're seeing them do. So all of this is available to you as well, right through your business dashboard, to where you don't have to, again, catch it at the end or go digging somewhere else to find that data. All of that information is visible to you in real time, so that you can have those conversations with the agents. You can identify those places where the agent needs to be coached through that reporting, of course, in addition to simply being able to see how much volume each agent or the entire office or company is bringing in. And tying back to recruitment and retainment, if you're a broker that has the time to spend coaching your agents are less likely to go somewhere else, because they see you as that mentor, they see you as that coach. They're going to stick around and help, or they're going to stick around just for the sake of you having the time to help develop their professional career. So retention, if we look at it recruiting, you can say, hey, new agent thinking about coming on board, I'm not the type of broker that's stuck in my office signing documents all day or trying to get our documents in order. We have a great tool that helps me make that more efficient, so I can actually dedicate my time to you in making sure that you're getting the most out of your business. So reporting, compliance, and agent empowerment are all kind of high-level ideology that dotloop tried to create a system to address. And we know that every broker, every company doesn't just care about transaction management. A lot of us have intranets or a one-stop shop where all of our programs are housed. A lot of us want to connect with the MLS, or we have a CRM or marketing or lead gen tool that we have a lot of information in, and also looking to the right, most of us have accounting platforms. And today, outside of this ecosystem of technology, you might have to enter the same data 20 times. Or if the purchase price of the contract changes, you or your staff have to remember to not only update it on the transaction, but also go into your accounting platform and update it there. Well, dotloop saw that need, and just in 2017, we partnered with around 40 different other software providers to where you can connect dotloop to those other programs to make a much more seamless transition from lead to contract to close to cutting that check without having to update data in 5 different places or worry about nuances or inconsistencies between the platforms. One super cool feature in dotloop is if you connect it to your accounting platform, if an agent goes in and amends the contract and they change the purchase price, we can automatically push that new purchase price, that new commission to your accounting platform so that you don't have to remember to go and do that, and we know that the data is as consistent as possible. So connecting dotloop with these other tools is extremely important to dotloop because we know that it's extremely important to you and important to the agents that are using these systems every single day. The next thing to talk about, which I think differentiates dotloop from just about every other technology provider in our industry, is this idea of success management. I mentioned that I'm one of the senior success managers. We have about a team of 20, and our entire responsibility day to day is working with brokers, taking a consultative approach to understand your business needs and where your hurdles are, where your pain points are, and then helping identify and leverage what features we can use in dotloop to address those, or how we might want to think about setting up the system to address those needs. We're not here to tell you exactly what you have to do. Again, it's a consultative approach. When I have a new partner come on board, we sit for an hour and I learn how they work, and then I bring my expertise to the table and say, hey, Mr. Broker, I've seen this before. This is what I've seen work best. What are your thoughts? Is what we're doing fitting into your culture? Is this how your agents operate? So we learn that so that we can respect your culture, we can respect the way that you operate and the way that you manage or you lead, and we can help you apply that to how the system is customized and built. So you will have a success manager every step of the way to not only help with the setup, but to help with the implementation, to help with the training, to help change the mindset of maybe some of the people in the office that say, I want to stick to paper. We can help deliver the message that, hey, if you've moved to dotloop, it's going to do X, Y, and Z for you. So we will help you tell that story through our success management program. And then lastly, support and training. This is something that I personally take a lot of pride in working for dotloop. One of the reasons why I've stuck around for 6 years is that we care that our platform has a positive impact on not only you, the broker, but your agents as well, because that experience that your agents have will directly translate to the experience that the clients have working with them. So we take support very seriously at dotloop. We keep all of our support in-house. We do not outsource anything. We don't have call centers offshores or in a different country. We don't have a random call center in Nebraska where there's some random call center employee reading a dotloop script. When your agents need help, they can contact our VIP support line and speak to a dotloop employee here in Ohio in the United States. And these employees understand their business and they understand their needs so that they can provide the best support possible. We have phone support, we have email support. We also have online resources from videos to articles to webinars. I am the type of person, I cannot sit through a training video. I cannot sit through a training webinar. I have the type of mind, I have to read the instructions and do them myself in order to learn. We understand you have agents the same way. That's why we've created different mediums of our trainings so that we can accommodate whatever training style you and your agents have. In addition to all of that support and all of those online resources, we also have nationwide trainers that can provide CE training. We have nationwide trainers that can come into your office and do an in-person training so that we can bring the company together, get them in front of a dotloop expert, and have a more personalized and intimate training that may help others learn a lot better than simply sitting in front of a computer trying to pay attention. So support and training and success management are two crucial parts to ensuring that dotloop is effective within your business and that dotloop creates a positive experience for your clients, for the agents, and for you, the broker, and your staff.